If you don't want to be included in the recording, please switch off your camera. Please don't swear. You're live
No
on
chance.
virtual happy hour. Please don't swear. And welcome everybody to the Christmas special. Hooray! Hooray! And we have quite a lineup for you this evening. I think before we start, we have a slide for behaviour. So I just want to walk you through the code of conduct briefly, where we just ask you to be aware of others and be friendly and patient, to be welcoming and respectful, to be open to all questions and viewpoints, to be understanding of differences, and to be considerate of others. So if anybody is not happy or comfortable with any of that, then please let us know. Or if anybody hears or sees anything that they think is not in keeping with that code of conduct, let myself or Chris Nicorn or Lee or Carlos know, and we'll be happy to deal with it for you. So welcome welcome all to the Christmas special. And we're very much looking forward to this evening's show, where we have the inimitable festive lemming Scott Durow, who's who's going to be talking us through his Lemmings Power Up, which I think we're all secretly very excited about. All the way from sunny Vancouver. What time is it there now, Scott?
Time zones have no meaning to me.
I know that, but for us mere mortals that operate on actual time,
it's 11 a.m. So
that's not too bad.
It's very reasonable time. Very reasonable.
Good. Closely followed by Rory, who's going to give us a talk on his initiative, the Power Ups for Kids, and tell us a bit about that. And then we've got Michelle, who also is involved in the Power Ups for Kids, and she's going to show us her Pokemon, not a euphemism. And followed by some time for Q&A. And actually, we've got pretty much a bit of a hard stop, I think, at 8 o'clock, because it is also the virtual power group Christmas special tonight, which starts at 8. And I think we're all going to head over there straight after this to support Paddy and the guys over there. So why is Ivan requested? Ivan, what are you trying to do? Honestly, I dread to think. And before Ivan takes over, I would like to bring everyone's attention to the lovely shiny trophy behind Carlos on his shelf there, and give Carl a round of applause for making it into MVP. It's right.
Congratulations, buddy.
Congrats.
I know. Thank you. Very proud of you. And Joe, what's wrong with your camera? Why are you green? Is that deliberate?
Am I green?
Is it me? Oh my God, I'm literally...
No, it's green for me as well. I mean, I couldn't get enough green in my wig, but Joe's got all my green by the looks of it.
He has a really dodgy camera.
You look great to me, Joe.
Are we better now? Oh, thank you, Lee.
No, you look good, Joe.
Look good, yeah.
Very good, very good. So without further ado, I'm guessing we go straight into Scott, because he needs to love us and leave us in true Scott Durow fashion. Is that correct? You need to dash off?
I do after this, yes. It's kind of the middle of the day and I'm trying to, juggle all sorts of stuff. But
Wunderbar. Yeah. Well, while Scott tells us about his lemmings, also not a euphemism, if everybody could mute just while the speaker's talking, that'd be amazing. Take it away, Scott.
Thank you ever so much, Alison. Very nice of you to introduce me like that. So that's the lemming, right? But I have dressed as a Christmas lemming. You can see my lemming, okay? See that? And that's not a euphemism either.
Yes,
but,
we can see the lemming.
But that, you see, that's the holiday lemmings, the Christmas lemmings. See, I tried to get a green wig, but the wig doesn't really look green on the camera very well. So you'll have to, use your imagination. But it's really hot under here as well. So I may start just sweating at some point. So I've been writing games in Canvas app for quite some time, and the thing is a lot of people say, well, it's kind of a pointless exercise writing games, But actually, I find the writing games pushing the platform to the limit is a very good way of learning how to do things that then actually you can apply to writing other more enterprise level apps. So yeah, it's a fun way really of getting to know the platform. But the thing is, I have this thing about Lemmings is that I always try and write Lemmings in a programming language when I'm learning a new programming language. It's like one of my things. So I've written Lemmings in lots of different languages over the years, and so I've done Power Flappy, and I've done a Power Type and other few fun things. But I was talking to a few people back in London. I think it was the London World Tour, and it was like one of those things I'm thinking I'm not really going to be able to do, and without going into custom code, without writing like a PCF TypeScript component to do this stuff. And we were sort of going back and forth on how we could do it. But then I thought, right, well, actually, I'm going to give it a go because, until I've proved myself wrong, I'll still have it in the back of my mind. So it's just there, every now and again, I'd kind of try and do it. And recently I thought, right, I'll do it, final push. And so there was a few kind of key challenges that I found that I'm going to run you through, because then you might be able to use them in other apps. But I'll quickly give you a demo of the app. So this is how it looks. It's just a Power App, so nothing up my sleeves here, so there's no pro code running or anything like that. So you can select. I've only done 4 levels, but I could kind of add those levels in if I needed to. So you kind of get the map, and you can scroll back and forwards. And I've tried to make it look as sort of close to the Windows port as I can. And so the idea is you kind of select one of these Lemmings. If you've not played it, I mean, it's a lovely game, just so simple, such a simple idea. And I think that's one of the things for me that makes it so attractive for trying to test out your coding skills, because actually once you create the logic for a lemming, a certain type of lemming, it then just can be applied across the board. So you can see here that you can start to give the lemmings their little skills there, and then they kind of drop through. I've put it into fast forward mode here. So there we go. And so, as the lemmings drop, each level has got different terms of numbers of lemmings, and there's kind of performance challenges. Really, that was one of the first things. Is like, how do you manage a whole load of things going on, and the logic being applied to all these different sprites simultaneously? So that's the first level. I can go and pick another level. So if I go and say use this one. This is quite a simple one, so you can kind of dig down. I'll put it on fast forward mode again, and then I could convert these into climbers, and they'll go up and climb. So let's make that a climber. Let's make that a climber. As the skills kind of go down and they start to climb up, and then they can kind of go in. So that's another one. And this is another kind of level, slightly more tricky level here. So for example, if these lemmings drop off the edge here, this is just too much of a steep drop. So you'll see that they go down and then they splut down at the bottom. So I'm going to convert that into a little one that starts to have a little umbrella, so you can then see, okay, now I can make him start to climb, make him start to dig. I'm gonna have to make this block here, otherwise they're going to start to drop off and kill themselves there. And so you can see how you build up the level. I'm gonna have to go and dig up to here and dig back up there, and it's quite a long level. The other level I did was this is quite a nice one, in the sense that you've got to go down these little steps, and then you've got to go up these steps there. So in order to do that, you have to make them start to dig down here, and they all sort of come out. And so you can see, there's a lot of challenges in terms of the processing that's going on. It has to be kind of scalable, that it can run for all of these different lemmings. So I'm not going to go and complete the level, but if I click this little explode button, they all explode, and then that's the end of the level. So there were a number of different challenges with this this kind of whole. Let's go back to my presentation. The top 4 challenges. Firstly was the sprite animation. How do I make it so it's performance, so it's smooth? Because there wasn't really very much jittery there. And if you've done any animation in Canvas app, sometimes if you're swapping images in terms of making something animate, sometimes it can get a bit flickery as the more images you add. Secondly, probably the biggest one was collision detection. In terms of as I dig a hole, I've got to be able to make sure the lemmings fall into that hole. They can kind of turn back, and when they hit a wall, all those kind of things. But also, not least, actually rendering the holes and rendering the steps over the top of the map. And then fourthly, how do you manage each of the levels? Because there's obviously a lot of data that has to be loaded. So I'm going to go through those really quickly. First one, very simple. You can use this in your own to get smooth animation. This is called a sprite map here, or a sprite sheet. So what you've got is you've got one image control with all the different animation frames. And then there's a container control, which kind of provides like a window. So it clips the image. And all that happens is you move the image relative to that container control. And so it's clipping off the image, because there's no native way of clipping an image, right? So you can't actually clip an image inside Canvas app. But by using a container control, you do this. And that actually makes it quite smooth. You don't get the flickering that you might get as you're changing animations. So that was the first challenge with the solution. Second one is, how do we do collision detection? Okay, because if the lemming walks up to the side here, it needs to walk up this wall, and then it needs to turn back. And as I'm digging down or adding steps, I need to be able to interact with those, and so the lemming. So the way that works is that behind the map is just an image, but behind that there's just a kind of this mask. And this mask is got different indexes. I mean, I showed them as colors here, but different indexes in that mask array for different types of ground. So green is just that you can dig through, and then there's another number that indicates it's steel that you can't dig through. And actually, if you can see here, down here, there's a little purple dot, and that's because that's the exit. So on this array, it contains all the information about collision detection and how the lemmings interact with the actual surroundings. The problem is you can't actually store arrays very efficiently. So you can't test. Say if my lemming is in a particular case, I can't easily go and index that efficiently and say X coordinate this, Y coordinate that, get me that value. It's quite inefficient to do it, because you've got to use last and first n, and there isn't that that construct that you have in normal programming languages. I put in normal in inverted commas, but where you just index an array. And also, not least, that when you're digging, I have to actually remove pieces of this map. So I have to actually amend the map. And again, that makes it even harder. It's very hard to actually go and make changes to a multi-dimensional array. So the approach I took there was a very simple one, is I just stored it as one big string. So you can see here that here's the map. It's just one big string. And all that happens is each of these pixels on here represent a character in the string. And so if I wanted to index a particular part of that array, I would just take the X coordinate and then add it onto the Y coordinate times the number of pixels in a row. And so I can actually start to index that. And actually, Canvas app is really quick when it comes to indexing strings. I can actually pick out a particular position in a value in a particular string. So I could find that there is a 1 in this position very quickly. It's just using the mid function. Also, what's the great thing is, when I'm starting to make holes and steps, again, I can actually do string manipulation very quickly in Canvas app. So I can actually say, right, rather than have the map in its basic form, I can actually go and start to change this map so I can take out one of these pixels very easily by changing this string value to say all of the values from the beginning to this point, and then change that pixel and then add all the rest of it on. And that, again, actually is very quick string manipulation. So although I'm changing the pixels in terms of the way in which I'm using the detection of those pixels, obviously I need to render the changes. So as I have my map, when a lemming is digging or adding steps, I need to actually show that. And there's no easy way in Canvas apps of actually changing an image without using all sorts of other kind of external stuff. So I took a very simple approach to that. Is I just overlaid an SVG control on top of that, the canvas, the map, and then started to use SVG rectangles and circles to show the steps and the holes and that are being dug. And so when that gets rendered over the top of each other, it kind of looks like the lemming is changing the map, but actually underneath that SVG, it's exactly the same map. And it's just that the lemmings look like they're falling through the hole because there's a black rectangle. And of course, the lemmings are a layer on top of that SVG control, so they look like they're falling through that hole. So quite a simple, straightforward technique there. So the last one is level selection. And to demonstrate this, I'll actually go into the app itself and edit it, so we can actually see what some of these things that are going on. But really, the way in which it works is that all of the level data, the stuff that varies between different levels, is stored in collections and also in variables. And so what that means is that the position of the exit, the position where the lemmings come in, because that varies depending on different levels, how many lemmings you have, the actual map itself as well, those are all stored as global variables that are, when you select the level, those get changed. And so that when you're playing the level, obviously that's all going to be dynamic. But the problem is that in order to select to change all those values, to make it kind of scalable, I didn't want to sort of start to have lots and lots of events that are being kicked off as I pick this row in this in a gallery. I didn't want to have to kind of put all the level data in there. So what I did is I created a container with a load of buttons for each of the different levels. So you've got a container here which has got Fun 1, Fun 4, Mayhem 1, Mayhem 5, which are the different levels I implemented. And if we look at the button and expand it, you can see it's setting the level data. So that's a whole ton of data there, which is the bitmap we talked about. Then it's setting the actual types of lemmings that you're allowed to use in that level. And then it's setting the positions, the start position of the lemmings, the exit position, all of that kind of stuff. So each of these different buttons has got all of that stuff in it, and it's kind of separate. So I can just simply add new buttons as I add new levels. And so what happens is that when I actually look at the when I select one of these items in the gallery, all it's using is it's running select on that button to kind of actually run that button. And so if I look at the on select of the if I go to the level, let's see, on start of the where are we? Here we go. The collection of levels. This is just a simple gallery of levels, and for each of those levels, it actually specifies which button needs to be selected for that. So if I go into my collection and look at my levels, here we go, you can see that the button name to actually select is stored in that collection as well as the name. So all that happens is when I select that particular item in the gallery and say start, it's going to say, right, I need to go and run select on button Fun 1 or button Fun 4. And so it just kind of makes a nice way of reducing the complexity of my app. So yeah, really, those are the kind of the top, because I only had 15 minutes here, so I'm at the top of my 15 minutes. But those are the top challenges. And so if I go over to the play screen here and I run, you'll see that it's got nothing there. I go back to here and click play, and now it's initialized all those variables and everything kicks off. And all I've got is a timer that's just running a load of processing on each of these lemmings. So if I kind of show you that timer lastly, the timer game loop, if I look at the on timer end, you can see that this is pretty big. And you can see it's a whole load of logic, but really all it's doing is it's performing a set of logic like the walker on each of the lemmings that are being released. And so it actually, although it looks really, really complex, it does seem to kind of fit quite nicely to the way that Canvas app works, in the sense that you've got a whole load of rows in a collection, and you just want to perform the same action on all of those rows. And that's kind of what makes it actually work quite nicely with a canvas app, because each lemming effectively behaves exactly the same way. So we're applying the same logic for all of those lemmings. So there we have it. The code is in actually in GitHub, so you can go and grab this if you want to kind of take a look to see how it works and start to play around with it. What I would love is if anyone wants to help out. What would be awesome if we could create like a community edition of this with like sort of, that all of the graphics looking like something to do with our community. Quite a big undertaking, but I think probably some concept art would be a good start. If anyone's got any idea and can come up with some concept art, maybe that might kick it off. But yeah, that would be awesome to have a conversation if you want to get involved with that. And there you have it. That's me.
Thank you
so much.
Dude, unbelievable.
We could have some
Amazing.
That is
special...
unreal.
Yeah, amazing.
I think the rest of us could just go home now.
Well, I already have. I've gone home. This is my sulking face.
Have you done a Ben Volmer? Have you just put like a still of yourself?
Oh dear. In fact, I'm actually one of those lemmings right now. I am digging a hole right now through to the...
That's not true. That's not true. Like the awesomeness that is Scott Durow. Does anyone have any questions that they think could reasonably have an answer? And I will understand.
When I saw the code, it was whoa. It's just you can say it's low coded, but there's so much logic behind the scenes. So you have to think about how to manage all the little stuffs into this game. So
yeah.
You used your iPhone.
Sorry.
How long did it take you, Scott?
Sorry, say again.
How long did it take you?
10 minutes.
Well, yeah, no, certainly not 10 minutes. I mean, I kind of did it on and off. I mean, like I said, I had this. It was at the Ignite World Tour in London I was talking about. I was like talking with Clay Wiesner, who's on the Canvas app team, and a few people that were doing the PCF. And so I was absolutely assuming that it was going to end up being a kind of more of a PCF-y kind of thing. But once I did it in little chunks, so I was like, okay, well, if I can get all the lemmings having interaction with a map, that's basically if you can solve that problem, you can pretty much do the rest of it. So I as soon as I got this idea of because I did basically lots of performance tests. I tried using a gallery where I was kind of rendering all the lemmings as an XY position in a gallery, which is another way of doing it. That didn't really kind of perform very well. And as soon as I kind of got around this way of storing the map as a big bitmap, a string, and I found that actually that was super fast to compare but also update, because that's the really critical thing, because every time this lemming is walking around, it's actually looking at its position in that bitmap to kind of decide what it needs to do. And so the indexing of the bitmap needs to really be quick. And again, indexing of a collection using last first n or first n last is really really slow if you're doing lots and lots of operations. And so once I got those solved pretty quickly. The rest of it was just polishing it really, and then it would take me a couple of hours to add another type of lemming. I started off with just walkers and diggers, and then I just built another lemming in another couple of hours. And so I don't know what it's taken me in total, but it's certainly not weeks and weeks of work, because I think that's the nice thing about lemmings. Once you implement the lemmings, the rest just comes with each of the interactions they do with that map.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Lee, have you got anything to add to that?
Just the quote of "I could add a new lemming type in a couple of hours" is just topped it off for me. Yeah, that would be a couple of years, I think.
Well,
that's just next level. That's just amazing. I've literally watched how you've done that, and I still don't know how to do it. So, yeah, I'm blown away. That's just incredible.
Awesome.
There's a Christmas project.
Yeah, if you were looking for some downtime over Christmas, Lee, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to help debug something, because at the moment it's not working very well on if I put an exploder. So if there we go. He's now going to explode in 3, 2, 1, and he goes It's meant to create like a hole there, but it doesn't. So it creates a hole for digging, but for some reason it's not working for the exploders. But yeah. So if you want to help with that, that'd be cool.
Very cool.
Very cool. Very
Scott,
cool.
I don't think applause does it justice, but thank you very much. That was literally a whole bundle of awesomeness.
Thank you. Can I take my wig off now? Because it's starting to get really, really warm.
Now you know how my head feels.
But you look fabulous. So.
Oh, thank you.
That's it until the end of the day now, Scott. Any other meetings are with the wig.
I might dye my hair that colour. Do you reckon? Get rid of the pink and go green.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, any colour, anything would suit you. So I think you're good
Scott.
to go.
Thank you so much, Scott. Really appreciate you joining us from 5,000 miles away.
It's my pleasure.
And next up, no pressure, is Rory Neary.
Thanks for that. It's been a great intro. Yeah, that was fabulous. Loads of questions. It's actually blown my mind. I'm almost speechless, but I won't quite be speechless. So I've been asked to come along and have a little chit chat about the work that we've been doing on Power Apps for Kids. And so I'm just going to sort of talk you through the bits and pieces that we've got up to. So what I was going to do was just share my screen, but there's nothing impressive that's going to be on it. So I'm just going to preempt that there. Yeah. So has anyone? I mean, we've Michelle has kindly come on to the Power Apps for Kids, and she's been helping us the whole way along. But I think what I wanted to do to begin with, I think where I'm going to go with this is I'm just going to do talk about the origins of the Power Apps for Kids, then do some demos. I might even do some demos in between, and then talk about this course that I've put together to help children to learn more about Power Apps. So I think it might be fun to just start with a little demo, just to kind of get us started. So I'm just going to do an F5 on this to get it full screen. In fact, on F11, that's good. In fact, I'm going to F5 it again, just to get us full screen. So this is just a little silly app that I put together to get Santa to come onto the screen. It's super simple. It is part of the course that I put together, and essentially all that happens is you go through and you click on the different windows, and once you've clicked on all of the windows, what you'll see is that it gets darker and darker as you click on more and more windows. So finally, once you get to the final window, then what you see is that Santa should magically appear, and that really is the kind of, I'm going to say, the essence of what the sort of level that we want to come in at with Power Apps for Kids. So one of the principles of how the best demonstrations that we have all come from blank apps, because that's a great entry point for anyone. If you can't sort of do it from blank, then it becomes a bit of it's harder for people to understand if you don't go from blank. And that was one of the learnings that we had when we first got started, and we don't always kind of get away with it. So what I was going to do now is do a bit of an origins thing, and then I'll kind of do maybe another little demo. And how long have I got on this? Is 15 minutes still okay? Or because I know that we've got Michelle.
Yeah, 15 minutes should be good. Like,
That's
we'll
fine.
have to just do like a quick wrap up. You're already 2.5 minutes in, so
that's fine. So just talking about origins. Oh, for goodness sake! Excuse me. not knowing how to use my own map. Let me just jump out of here actually and just do that. So we started in March 2020. I basically put something onto the Power Addicts and say, hey, you know, it'd be a good thing to do a piece with on for kids, and I then teamed up with the Microsoft Reactor and said, well, do you think you could put something out? And so they kind of sort of hosted it, and they've been hosting it for the whole time. And since then, we've kind of gradually created more and more resources. So we've got powerappsforkids.com that you can go and visit, and we've got the Twitter, which is Power Apps for Kids, which is kind of okay. It's hard to kind of keep these things all maintained. There's actually a great team of people that have been involved at different times. Everyone's really busy, but everyone's managing to put just enough time in so that we can put these monthly sessions on for children and parents and so on. You know, one of the things that we do each time is we talk about why learn Power Apps and how relevant it is to children and to parents, because I mean, let's be honest, you know, parents have actually got this at work and they don't know how to use it, and yet if their children can demonstrate they can use it, then look, I'm afraid the parents can use it too. So we do have a YouTube channel. I think it's got about 25 videos on it when I last looked. We do have a particular structured sessions, and since we got started, we've also got a group that takes place in Asia Pacific. So that's Elaine and Jiva, based in Australia, and they run their sessions, which are at sort of 3 in the morning here. So that's quite cool. And one of the things that is really neat about this is nobody seems to come on the show wanting to kind of say how amazing they are. They just want to kind of do something a little bit more fun. So that's really that's been all the way through, and I've had some great reception from all of the people that that I've asked to come onto this. So we've had Daniel Christian, we had Reza Durrani, they kicked things off, but we also had April Dunham, we've had Michelle. You know, one of the cool things is that I think that it was in one of the months we had 2 people from the group became MVPs, which, yeah, it's a reflection of everything they're doing, but it's quite cool as well. As I say, we do apps from blank. Our next session is Tuesday, the 19th of January, and that kind of takes me to the end of just kind of giving you the mini origins story for Power Apps for Kids. So I think at this point I'll do another little demo. Now we do have, I wish I could actually show you some of the Peter Veenstra's boys. They've actually done some really cool apps for us. They even demonstrated how to make they call tic-tac-toe noughts and crosses. They built noughts and crosses using Power Apps, and they demoed it. You know, one at the time was 8, the other one was 11. They demoed it in the session, so it's a brilliant platform for them to, you know, go on and, you know, and be successful. So how am I doing for time? I'd say it feels about 8-9 minutes ish.
You're on 6.5 minutes, so you've still got 9.5 minutes.
I was maybe I'll do Lemmings later. So this is an app that there's a guy from Nepal, and he asked me if he could do a Christmas app. And we did this Christmas app, and it's on the course, and I'll show you the course later on. But the course is that you're supposed to do the tune to Jingle Bells. It is really simple under the hood. So essentially you do Jingle Bells. In fact, it's a bit of a theme for this. So this thing tells you what note to play next. Jingle Bells. Okay. And then you have to play all the notes. And then once you get to the end of this, I'm not going to go all the way through to the end of this. I might as well. I might as well carry on, but it's really simple. But as you can see, it's just a really simple gallery. But the way in which he's done it,
we can't hear the music. I don't know if we're supposed to be able to.
Oh, sorry. I'll probably have to share and then share again.
Oh, don't worry.
So I'll just I'll do that and share. I think it's a bit of a trick the way that you do the computer sound, but anyway, I will share screen 3, and then that's me live again. So anyway, you didn't miss much. It was the start of Jingle Bells. I don't even know where we are in it. And all it's doing is firing the same note each time. All the notes are in GitHub, and it just fires it. So, oh no. Come on, Santa. So there we are, another little demo. It is an app that a child could make, and we'll see in the course it's one of the things that a child could do. So kind of moving back to the sort of presentation land, I want to tell you now about the course. So the easiest way to get to the course is to go to powerplatformlearn.com, and I'll just show you how to do that. So it's powerplatformlearn.com. It's just because it's a bit of a mouthful, the URL for the site itself. So you go into courses, you choose Power Apps for Kids, and then you get to see the course itself. Now, children can sign up for this course if they want to, but most of the lessons have just been made on a preview basis. So they can just watch the course, and they don't have to log in. They don't have to do anything like that. It's all really, really safe. And we've got loads of things in here. So we start off and we talk about what are Power Apps, the cool things you can do with this. And this is one where it takes about 2 or 3 minutes to make an app where you create a sign language app, and it takes just a few minutes to do that. A little bit about how to get Power Apps, and then you got the way you can then do some of these Christmas apps, and they're quite cool. So you hit the preview on this, and then this would be the experience. It's basically a video. So off he trots, Rory talks, blah blah blah. There we are. Hello. So, and then you can see that there's games that people can make. There's a really great, in fact, I need to put in some of the work that Michelle has done, because I've now worked out how to get videos from YouTube in there. Because Michelle did a really brilliant session on how to work with images, and she included in that how to get images out of PowerPoint, and that's a really neat thing to do. So we've got some music apps. We've got one where Brian Dang makes a musical kalimba, which is this kind of, I'm not even sure how to describe it, but it's just imagine it as a xylophone sort of thing. And he makes that. It takes about 30-40 minutes. And then there's a little bit about importing apps and so on. And there are a few lessons that we've got in here. And there's also the Microsoft Hour of Code. So this is where I lifted this from YouTube. And this is the Hour of Code that Brian Dang has been putting out there. So I think it's quite a cool resource for children to make use of. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And actually, no, I'm going to finish off on this thing that we did last night. It was really funny, actually. How's that so far, Alison?
It takes me ages to get to the unmute.
Oh, that's all right.
Time-wise. Yep, you've still got 3.5 minutes. So,
3.5 minutes. Now, this is an app that I made and myself, and I heard, I don't know who told me, but I heard that April Dunham liked doing karaoke. So I said to her, well, do you fancy doing like Christmas carols? And we could do this Christmas carol. I thought she'd say no anyway. And she didn't say no. So what we've got here is a cool little app, and technically it's quite neat, because if you actually go under the hood, what you've got is a microphone control. What happens is when you get to the on stop of the microphone control, it takes the what is contained within the microphone and pulls out the JSON, and that means that we can push that as a text file into SharePoint, as it is in this case, and that means that we can then this could be used in so many ways. It could be used for languages, any things, because hardly anyone uses the microphone control. But in this case, we actually decided we would sing Jingle Bells. So here comes April singing Jingle Bells. Here she comes.
Dashing through the snow
On a one-horse open sleigh.
over the fields we go,
Laughing all the way.
bells on bobtails ring, making spirits bright.
What fun it is to laugh and sing a sleighing song tonight. There we are. That's over with the show as far as I'm concerned. But you know, it is super simple. There's almost nothing in this. But now we haven't actually made that as like a course or anything like that. I just knocked it up because I thought it was kind of fun to do. And it was just, I don't know, it's still kind of, it was still amazing that we did it during the show, and she was in America and I was here in the UK, and she was, I don't know, I just think it's cool. I know it's, you know, you could argue it's the same as making a telephone call, but I still just think it's a really neat thing. So that kind of brings you, but it just goes to show you, Power Apps for Kids is not about kind of kids, you know, doing, you know, hugely complicated things. It's actually about having a little bit of fun with this. Yeah, sure, if you want to get complicated, but you don't have to. You can just have a bit of goofing around. And certainly as far as the presenters and so on, this should be a place where they can come and just have a bit of fun and not put too much pressure on themselves. So here endeth the presentation about Power Apps for Kids.
Thank you so much, Rory. That's amazing. Yeah, I love the singing. I think that is really cool. I like the I haven't seen Brian Dang's one. I might go and check that out, but I like the piano, the Jingle Bells playing on the piano as well.
Yeah,
cool.
It is, and it's actually technically it is desperately simple. There's hardly anything, but there isn't much to it. But actually, one of the things we found was that whole idea of creating simplicity out of complexity, and how it is you create the simplest version of whatever it is you're trying to achieve. And sometimes you have to really think a little bit more outside the box. I think that's quite nice.
Very cool. Any questions very quickly for Rory before we jump into Michelle? Not a euphemism.
Just a quick one from me, Rory. What's the most impressive thing that you've seen built out as part of these different sessions and stuff?
Well, I think the most impressive thing is the work that that Peter's boys have been doing, because it proved to me that children can be interested in this, and that they can, you know, have a passion for it, and, you know, and actually use maths in a way that isn't just creating dumb triangles, you know, endlessly, and answering questions that don't actually have a real meaning to them. So in the case of one of Peter's boys, what he did was he used the cosine function. Bear in mind, he's 11 years old. He used the cosine function to attach it to the x and y properties of a planet, and how he got the planet to orbit the sun. And it was really cool. He didn't just get one planet to orbit the sun. He actually got all of the planets to orbit the sun, and then he was able to actually click on a planet, and it would tell you facts about that particular planet. And that is kind of the essence of it all. To kind of, I don't think that we should feel that like the Power Apps and so on should be an enabler, not the end goal. It should just be like, it should just help us be better at the things that we really want to do. So yeah, that was,
it's amazing.
Yeah, it's very cool. And I think like any opportunity to get kids into this stuff and away from Instagram and God knows what else is a great idea. So well done for that. So I'm sorry to cut away from you, Rory, but
no,
just aware of,
go for it.
just aware of timing, so we would love to welcome Michelle to the stage, and she is going to show us her.
Okay.
Take it away.
Okay, let's start my my short introduction and demo. Today I indeed, Joe, I would like to show my Pokemon 3D, and actually yesterday I also prepared a short I call it mixed reality card maker for Power Apps for Kids session. So if I have time, I will also show that the second demo of 3D models with mixed reality. So let me share my screen and also include background computer sound. So that's so. Let's start doing this. First of all, I think it should be good to let you know some infrastructure and basics about the 3D Pokemon, how I got into this idea, and how I have created this, and then I show the Pokemon 3D app to you. First of all, it was in April. The new mixed reality feature has released from Power Apps, and then in the Power Platform community call, I saw the astronaut 3D Explorer from Risa, and that brings me to an idea. And I go for internet and did some search on 3D models, and then I found 3D Pokemons. Well, my son is one of the it's my son's favorite. He's playing Pokemon Go daily, so it brings me to an idea, and I would like to give it a try about this new feature. So I enabled the mixed reality feature, and I just play it around and give it a try. Also because I'm one of the members of Power Apps for Kids, so I would like to see if I can teach and engage my kids to give it a try, to learn Power Apps for to learn Power Apps also. So that was the start and beginning, and I combine all these things together, and I would like I hope I can interest them to learn Power Apps. So that was the start of the beginning, and then I just used Power Apps, and I have saved my 3D models into a GitHub, and with use of Power Automate, I grab all the data, the photo that I've created in the Power Apps. I include it into a binary data and push it into Flow. And with Flow, with Power Automate flows, I can save it as a file into my OneDrive. So this is just the logic that I've used for my app. And yeah, so I shared my. So let's share my screen. Because the laptop doesn't. Sorry, I have to share my screen. Maybe it takes. I have to reopen it. I lost my session, so I there it is. You can see my screen, right?
Yep.
So, because the computer doesn't. The camera on my computer doesn't support mixed reality, so I have to publish the app into my into Power Apps, and then I can test it out on my mobile phone. So I have to share my mobile phone to you to show this. So that's why I need to open this. Here I got my Pokemon 3D app. This is how it looks like, with a little bit sound on it. I use different graphics to show this, And let's say when I click on a Pokemon, in this case Jigglypuff, you will hear some sounds. You can see the 3D view in mixed reality component. So I can zoom in, zoom out, and view it. And if I want to take a photo with Jigglypuff, I can click on View Jigglypuff in Real, press on that button. Then I can use the mixed reality feature function. So I share this on my screen. It takes some time for loading. Now it's grabbing the file on the internet, the 3D. And when you see the circle, I can press that. Then Jigglypuff is now on screen. So I can take a photo with Jigglypuff. So I have create some nice photos. Or I can ask my daughter to come in, or we can make some photos together. I can go back and then choose, let's say, Pikachu, and then grab another photo. Take some time for loading, I think. Let's see. Maybe the internet connection isn't fast enough. Let's see if I go here. I have Pokemon. So here's Pokemon, and I can create a photo. And here I can see my photo, and which one I like, I can select it and then choose a maximum of 3 photos. And finally, I can save it and upload it into my OneDrive. Because the photos it is taken is used with the photo camera device of my iPhone. So I will get an image of about 2 or 3 megabytes. So it's too much to select all the photos. So I set the maximum of selecting 3 photos. And now I can, let's say, go back and take a look to other things. But I can also go to my OneDrive. And in my OneDrive, there's a Pokemon 3D folder. If it isn't created, it will create a Pokemon 3D map folder for me. And if I go to, let me see, where is it? Pokemon 3D. So am I in the? So I wasn't in the right. Here's my Pokemon 3D, and you can see here is the Pokemon photos that we have been taken. And now it's saved into my OneDrive, and I can use it. You can see is my daughter playing with Pokemon effects. Here's Squirtle, and so on. So we had a lot of fun just playing and testing around. But that's the whole idea of this Pokemon 3D. So coming back to my slides, but also this Pokemon 3D brings to me is that I have entered the Power Apps Demo Extravaganza 2020, and I got enough votes to be one of the finalists, and finally I got the 3rd place. So I was very happy with it, but it's also the experience that you gained is so valuable for me. So yeah, that's one of the things. And also because I did a lot for Power Apps for Kids, or I did some I know some famous, and this bring also the MVP award for me, I think. But that's the experience that is and not I don't know how to describe it, but that's the whole thing. Do I still have some time for my another app, the mixed reality card? I still have 5 minutes. So
yeah,
I just
keep going, Michelle.
Yeah.
I just opened this, and actually it is the same concept. Sorry. Of course I have to share my screen here. I hope you can still see my screen. Let's just start with Power Apps again, and this time I choose the card maker. This time I have I've chosen 4 different Christmas related 3D models. For example, I choose the GIF, 3D GIFs. You can see I can view it in mixed reality. And here's my daughter. She just came in. And then, let's see. Yeah. Here's Rochelle with a lot of GIFs. I can select this and let's say I send an email to myself. And what I did is also grabbed all the information from the photo, the message, let's say Merry Christmas. And then I can send this in an email to myself, but I can also make some nice cards and then send it to, let's say, to my friend Rory. So the card will be coming. I think here it is. So this is just the card and the 3D file that I've just created. So that's the demo that I have done yesterday for Power Apps for Kids, but it's just give them an idea and the concept how you can use the 3D mixed reality components of Power Apps. Yeah, so it will coming back to my final slide for any questions. I see I have 3 minutes left, so yeah, I have to see my questions, any questions also, but and read the comments.
Yay!
Yeah. Thank you very much.
I don't think there was any questions specifically, but there was a lot of comments. Don't forget to take part in the poll if you haven't already. But would also like to say, oh, Carl, is that really in keeping with the code of conduct? That was amazing. Like, honestly, guys, 3 absolutely amazing sessions this evening. Like Power Platform, Virtual Happy Hour, bringing the content everyone didn't know they needed. Lee, do you want to take us to the outro?
Yeah, sure. So we just wanted to cover off some of the upcoming events. The legendary Bespoke Badger, which has been going since literally the very start of lockdown, have the Christmas party on this Friday coming. I imagine that is going to be completely, yeah, that's going to be safe for people of all ages, I imagine. But past that, hoping everyone has an amazing Christmas. But we are going to then come back with virtual Power Group on the 5th of Jan, then D365 UG Birmingham on the 20th. Then on the 26th of Jan, we have Cloud South Coast. 27th of Jan, UG Manchester, Azure Lowlands on the 29th. 9th of Feb is going to be another Cloud South Coast on D365. And then the next one of our events is going to be on the 10th of Feb. And then Scottish Summit, is that a slide?
Yeah, that's my mistake. That's not the 12th of December, is it? That's the 27th of February.
Oh,
yeah, cool. Yeah, so
win an award
and Scottish Summit. Yeah,
you.
That's it. You get one little badge, Carl, and then you can't even keep the slide updated.
I just want to sorry to interrupt, Lee. It was just a quick one. I think the second of those South Coast groups is planned to be an in-person.
The first one is the 26th is planned.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
the
really?
D365 one is something new. That one came out today, so I don't know what that's all about. So.
Nice.
And don't forget the pub quiz. The pub quiz is important too.
At the Scottish Summit?
Yes. Please register.
Can I add one for tomorrow night?
Yeah.
I'm going to be revealing where I will be working next year.
Oh.
Some of
Do
us
you want to give
already
us
know.
a little preview now?
What's
No.
that?
Do you want
I-
to just tell us now?
No spoilers.
No. I actually have an emoji quiz for you, and if you want to look, I'll just share my screen, and this is the emoji quiz. And here we go. It might work, it might not. Are you there? Can you see it?
Yeah.
We can hear you, Clem Fandango.
Oh.
That
Brexit.
is the emoji quiz. It tells you where I'm going to be next year.
As it looks like you're saying goodbye, Britain.
Well, sorry, I've just come off that. Well, all will be revealed tomorrow.
Dun, dun,
What-
dun.
What a mystery. What a mystery.
The intrigue.
Right. We're late for the virtual power group. We should
Oh, let's jump across.
overcross.
Yes. I think Lee would probably like to thank our guests, if you don't mind not cutting him off.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that was the only last thing we wanted to just thank you for 3 epic presentations. Like, they were kind of next level. The things we're doing with kind of mixed reality, what we're doing for the next generation, and what we're doing with, well, Lemmings and Canvas apps full stop, like, all up, that was just epic. That was so good. So thanks all 3 of you, or
Well
4 of
done.
you with Rochelle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well
So
done.
does anybody have a link? Oh, we've got a link in the chat, have we? Well done,
Yep.
Larry. Always rely on Larry for a link. Larry,
Scott, by the
landlord.
way, I am loving the hair.
It's very good.
Why, thank you.
Very,
Tish.
very nice.
Thank you.
I appreciate all help.
So I'll end the recording there, and thank you everybody for joining us. If we don't see or speak to you before, then have a wonderful Christmas and New Year. We are taking a break in January, and we're back with a new format in February, which is I wanted to call it Between Two Ferns, but I think I've probably been downvoted on that one.
No, you're fine with me, and I'm in charge, so it's okay.
So I think the guys in the virtual power group are having a Christmas special now, so no networking tonight. Join us for the Badger Christmas party on Friday, and don't forget to register and pick a team for the Scottish Summit quiz as well. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great one.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks all.
Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye all. Whoops.